Folks, today I want to talk about the impact of technology on performance and ultimately winning, not only in your business, but also in your personal life as well. So, is technology helping people be more productive? And the answer is yes, but to a certain point. And we're having more studies come out on this particular topic and subject, primarily over the last 5 to 10 years. And the findings are very fascinating. So as you implement technology in your organization, you want to be fully aware, not only for yourself as a human being and for your family members, because you're going to have kids that go into the workforce if you don't already have kids in the workforce, your spouses in the workforce, and their productivity, performance, and mental health and well-being is impacted by technology. So there's both a professional perspective here and a personal perspective. I have this love-hate relationship with technology because I see the benefits that it has. I'm a huge tech fan, but I also see the downside and the impact that it's having on people's mental health, their well-being, their levels of anxiety, and ultimately burnout. This conversation, the reason why I'm doing this episode right now is I had a really interesting discussion with a technology leader who runs a very successful company that implements technology within organizations. So what they do is they essentially implement software within organizations to make the organizations more productive, to have better data, and ultimately have a competitive advantage. And it was interesting what he said. He said their firm has gotten to a point where people are now starting to push back, not within their firm, but their clients. Not necessarily clients that are hiring them and buying their services, but the people that are actually implementing the technology. What does that mean? What he was saying was he thinks that we're reaching a societal and a behavioral threshold for the amount of technology that people want to interact with. So basically, he said that there are people saying now that I don't want to be spending all day working with technology. I want to have some human interactions. I didn't sign up for this job to sit at a screen all day or to work with AI all day. That's not what I want to do. I want to have something more engaging and fun and interactive and more human. And this is what we're seeing in a lot of workforces right now. And that is something important for you as a business leader to understand and as a human being to understand, because we are not designed and we will never be designed as human beings naturally to be so integrated with technology. It's not good for us. So when someone is sitting in front of technology most of the day, we already know, whether that's a screen or their phone, that their levels of anxiety goes up. For example, they have information overload. So these are some of the causes of people actually burning out and having an increased level of mental health challenges. So the information overload in itself is a big challenge. There's way too much information out there. It hasn't been simplified for people to be able to say, what do I do with this information? And how do I use it effectively in my life? Social media, if I'm just going to bash on social media right now, it is a complete information garbage overload. There's very little, I'm going to say, positive, impactful information on social media that is something that someone can take forward and actually action. They're quick hits of dopamine. That's what social media is. And when people get overloaded in terms of information, it's hard for them to think. And so you are probably seeing, and I'm seeing this as well amongst people, that people have lower attention spans, lower memory, working memory. Oh, I shouldn't say they have lower working memory, but they're not able to utilize their memory as effectively. The simple calculations of math, people aren't able to do anymore, or even write out full sentences. It's really incredible what's happening. And that's not just as a result of mental health or anything like that. It's because they're not utilizing the right aspects of their brain because technology is taking over. So I don't want to make this doom and gloom. That's not what this is about, but this is very important for you as a human being, but also for your organization strategically and to have a competitive advantage. How much technology is too much for your people? Because we are down a path right now, especially with AI, where there's this whole perception that the workforce is going to be replaced by AI. And so what happens is if we have a workforce that is all AI, then what are our people supposed to do? And how do they interact? And so what's the competitive advantage within an organization? And I firmly believe that the organizations that have a healthy balance with technology will have the competitive advantage. So we are already seeing organizations, we've seen this over the last couple of years, bring people back into physical workspaces. I'm a huge advocate of that. Even though I have a home office, I do a lot of work digitally. For a team to be creative, for a team to have true, I'm going to say, cohesiveness and engagement and retention, and be able to build off of each other's ideas, it's ideal and optimal to have them in a physical space together, working together, because it builds that bond, builds that relationship. There's something different by being in person live with your teammates. So that is my firm belief, and the research is showing some of that as well. Now let's sum this up. What does this mean for you, and what do you do going forward when it comes to technology? I would seriously take a look at your strategy when it comes to AI or technology implementation. And part of that strategy is to take a look at what is the ideal and optimal threshold of the amount of technology that people can handle, but also want to handle. Yes, there is natural people pushing back to say, you know what, I'm afraid of technology and I don't think this should be implemented because perhaps I don't want it to take over my job, or I don't want people to know my secrets in terms of my knowledge base because then I could be phased out. Or I just, for example, I like doing this part of the job. I don't want technology to do it. So it's important to take all of those things into consideration. Yes. Do you have a choice of implementing AI in your business? I don't think so. You're going to have to if you haven't already. But you do have a choice of how much is implemented and what aspects and what parts of your business you're actually bringing AI into, because technology is going to be a competitive advantage going forward, but also your people will be more of a competitive advantage as well. And you want to make sure that you keep the smart people, the right people, the engaged people happy and engaged. And so overloading them with technology is only going to burn them out and dissatisfy them. And that's essentially what we've seen here. So those are the things to take into consideration when it comes to your strategy. So in optimizing the amount of information that your employees get, providing training on effective digital usage, right? And how do you manage it? What are some good practices for your employees to put into place so that they aren't feeling like they have FOMO, which a lot of people feel these days? Is even if you don't expect your employees to respond to emails in the evening, many people do because they just don't have the self-discipline themselves. How do you manage using technology? Where do you bring in face-to-face communication versus Slack or Zoom or whatever that looks like? Because that part is very, very important as well. And then taking a look at the entire ecosystem of technology that you're implementing. I highly believe that people should be taking a look at the overall strategy when it comes to technology rather than just going in there and saying, we're going to AI the crap out of our business. And what are the boundaries that you have as an organization when it comes to AI or technology? There definitely needs to be boundaries. And one last thing, how are you going to help your people detox from technology? That is very, very critical and important. What we do know is that even though people have the knowledge that they should detox, right? We're talking about the simple, people are addicted to many different things in life, whether it's alcohol, drugs, smoking, whatever the individual might have. And that includes technology. So even though you can tell your employees to have technology detox, doesn't mean that they're actually going to do it. So having some kind of protocol for your employees to have a detox period from technology is very important because that can help them reset their brain. Remember, the brain is not designed to sit and be integrated with technology. It is not. It is designed to be out in nature. That's what our brain is designed to do, to be actually out there physically moving in Mother Nature or with Mother Nature. And so we are artificially changing how the brain is operating, which is having some benefits, but it's also having some major challenges as well. And so for you to have a competitive advantage, which this is ultimately about, as well as proper well-being, have a strategy when it comes to implementing your AI and technology, and understand the threshold of where too much technology can actually take your direction in the wrong way, particularly because of the people that you have in your organization. We are human beings with human brains, and we need to understand that.